All right, so we're going to take Victor on a drive here, and just to point out some of the interior features. Again, it's the Ranger package. It's got all the wood grain on the dash. Everything's all original in here. The original steering wheel is in phenomenal condition, and when we found this truck in a listing for sale, that was the one thing that I saw that told me that there was this pretty solid chance that this truck truly was original, just from the couple of photos we'd seen. So everything on the inside is in really, really good condition. I mean, again, 55 years old, and it's phenomenal. And we'll be showing you pictures of all the stuff as we talk about it. The carpet's all original. It does have these floor mats that have been in it since we got it, and I'm assuming they've been in there for quite a while. But everything underneath, as we'll show you, is in phenomenal condition. It's right now showing 10,487 miles on the odometer, and you know, it's a manual choke. It's got the cargo light switch here. That, you know, the red light comes on when you pull that out. Lighter. You got your lights and wipers, ignition, and all that. The AM radio. Most of these sound terrible, but this radio sounds pretty phenomenal.
That has upheld this.
If you like,
that's going to put his whole.
If you like AM radio, but it actually still functions and works perfectly. All the heater controls and everything work. You know, just, you know, so good. I mean, all the slides, everything works just so effortlessly as you're, you know, going through the operations and all that. Nice clean glove box. I think there's still some change in there from quite a while ago, but yeah, so we're going to take it on a drive now. It is 3 on the column, like we said. It's got the cable operated overdrive to the left side of the steering column here, and basically how that works is when you're in second or third gear, you can push this in, and it will activate the basically it's a 2-speed planetary drive on the back of the transmission that gives you the overdrive. So when you push that in and you're above 28 miles an hour, it will, and you let off, if you let off the throttle for just a second, it'll engage the overdrive. And then from there on, you're cruising. If you put your foot all the way to the floor, while, you know, say you're going 55 miles an hour and you want to get out of overdrive and maybe pass somebody, put your foot all the way to the floor, and it will engage or disengage the overdrive and put you back into the 1-to-1 ratio in the 3-speed, and allow you to have some extra RPMs for passing. And then once you're done, you let off the gas and it will go back into the overdrive. So anything below 22 miles an hour, it will automatically kick itself out of overdrive. So when you're slowing down to turn or whatever, it will disengage. But yeah, so we'll show you some of that operation a little bit, but we'll go ahead and start her up here. Give her a little mini choke. It's a little cold out today. It's in the 40s, but she runs like a sewing machine. So it's already been running a little bit, so it really doesn't need much for choke. And then that's with the choke all the way in. So there she is, purring along. Shift her down into first, and guess it helps if we take the parking brake off, but off we go. And again, this thing just purrs down the road. It's kind of that's why I refer to her as a sewing machine. I mean, I've driven a lot of these 360 FE trucks, and this thing there's just an element to it that is so smooth and driver friendly that it just reminds me of this, just hearing a sewing machine run. It's stock exhaust, and it just has that freshness to it that you would expect out of a 10,000 mile truck. And with this truck, the way the transmission operates is that in order to get it back into first gear, once you've been cruising, you have to be at a complete stop. I've driven other 3-speeds that weren't quite that way, but if you try to downshift and you go to third to second, and then you want to go down to first as you're stopping, it won't do it. It's just going to grind gears. So you have to come to a complete stop. and then engage first gear, and then you can go. But the truck is actually pretty happy normally if you're slowing down to make a right turn or left turn or whatever, and you don't have to come to a stop. Second gear will be just fine. So that's how this transmission operates. So we're back into first gear here. We're going to go around, jump on the highway, and show you how the overdrive works. So as we're getting on the highway here, we are about 50 miles an hour. Now we're getting up to 60. Now we're doing about 65, but I'm gonna go ahead and push in the overdrive cable and then let off the throttle, and then you feel a shift, and that's it kicking down into overdrive. So again, push in the overdrive lever and then let off the throttle, and it kicks it down into the overdrive. And then if you want to get out of the overdrive, put your foot to the floor and it shifts, and then once you get out of it, you let off the throttle and back into overdrive. So right now we're doing about 67, 68 miles an hour down the highway. And we're doing 70 right now, and it's totally happy. We're gonna go ahead and jump back off the freeway because it's time to put a little more gasoline in here, which, as we all know, these 360s like. So it's still overdrive is still engaged. Shift it down in a second, still engaged, and then once it drops below the 22 miles an hour, it automatically disengages the overdrive. But now we're not gonna be on the highway, we're gonna be in town the rest of the way, so I'm gonna go ahead and disengage it by pulling out the lever. And oh, there we go. It wasn't quite stopped, and we just does a little bit of gear grind going into first. If you're not used to it, it's hard to get used to a little bit, because I've got a truck in the shop right now that's got a 3-speed, and it'll allow you to shift down into first before you're stopped. But that is a different 3-speed than this one has.